Russia's most prolific serial killer was a woman. She killed 128 people. The most prolific serial killer out of India was actually a cult leader, also known as King of the Thugs. Leader,
of course.
Hang on. The most prolific serial killer in South Africa. He confessed to 101, including many children. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and is now out living his life. Gene Perteniga, who claimed to kill 964 people, also in the 1500s. In the 1500s, that many people didn't exist in Germany. Come on, guy. In the 1990s, women made up 60% of international serial killers. And in the 2010s, women made up only 8% and men 92%.
Oh, Stuart Little. I'm thinking of someone else. Okay, yes. He was
Samuel
recently
Little.
found.
You're thinking of a mouse.
I said Stuart Little. I meant Samuel Little. They're twisted and they're uncorked. Alecia and Sierra. They're all together podcasters. They're the hosts of the Twisted and Uncorked podcast.
There we go.
Okay.
I loved
applause
it.
for that. It was really bad. So an applause is like
You
a
tried.
nice surprise.
I mean, Sierra actually did the right thing.
I did the clap.
I know.
the
I'm
snap.
sorry. I'm sorry. I failed you there, but it was beautiful. Yeah, we're doing a little Twisted Tennis mashup here, guys.
Yeah. If our podcast were to give birth to a new podcast, it would be called the Twisted Tennis. I've already decided. But no one's giving birth today, I hope, because this is the Twisted Tennis. And I'm Nick. I'm here with Alecia and Sierra. And you might be listening to us on the Tennis podcast feed, or you might be listening to us on the Twisted and Uncorked feed. We're doing a crossover today. It's a pleasure, ladies.
I can't believe you've
I'm
been
so
podcasting
excited.
for this long and you've never done a crossover episode.
Yeah, I've been a guest
We're
on people's
trailblazers.
podcasts. They've been a guest on mine, but I've never done like a, double feed.
We really
Whatever
just
crossover
bullied
you wanna
him
call it.
into this by saying that we had a list for him that was right up our alley, being a true crime podcast. So
Yeah, I'm here less so for you and more so for the list because I was told we're talking serial killers today. That always gets me. I have a fun fact though. Are we doing fun facts today?
Oh,
let's do fun facts. Tell us your fun
Okay.
fact.
You guys didn't bring one?
Always. We
I
always
have
have one
books
ready.
of fun facts. It's fine.
Okay, all right. I'll go first then. I knew we were talking serial killers today, so I pulled out a fun fact, which is really more of a theory, but I
Okay.
think I subscribe to this theory and I think it's interesting. Have you guys heard of the lead exposure theory that led to you look like you're not familiar
It
with it?
sounds familiar.
Oh,
But
okay.
I covered a
Maybe you
lead
talked about
masks case, so I don't know if it's related, and that's why it's standing out.
Sometimes people ask, like, why was the 70s and 80s and maybe the 60s too, like the prime time for serial killer activity in America? Because there were less serial killers, at least that we know of, in the 90s plus. And before the 60s was also more rare. The theory is that this comes from Kevin Drum of Mother Jones. He summarized all of the research. It says, all of the research points to one simple idea. Violent crime rose as a result of lead poisoning because of leaded gasoline. It declined because of lead abatement policies. So basically, gasoline used to have a lot more lead in it. And I think paint in houses and stuff too. And so toddlers who ingested high levels of lead in the 40s and 50s were more likely to become violent criminals in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. There you go.
That is very interesting.
That's kind of the
and
perfect fun fact for today's list.
I
So
can
all those
totally
serial
believe
killers, Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy, it's all because of the lead in the paint.
So it's
That's
not
what
even
we're.
their
It's
fault.
not even a nature versus nurture, nature and
Well, there's
nurture
probably some of
situation.
that too.
It's
Yeah.
just lead. All right.
I'm not ready to put 100% of the blame on lead, but I'll put 10 to 15% of the blame.
I feel like that's a fair percentage. Okay, my fun fact is about Pee Wee Gaskins, one of the most prolific serial killers in South Carolina. He actually drove a hearse around with a bumper sticker that read, "I haul dead people." And he told people that he needed to take the bodies of people he killed to his private cemetery following his arrest. And that's why he rocked that bumper sticker.
Pee Wee Gaskins,
Goodness
man.
gracious.
Yeah, right?
Not a fan.
But like, where does one get a bumper sticker that says "I haul dead people"? Like, you've got to get that custom made.
He's, I want to say 70s, right? 1970s?
Yes.
Sound right? Yeah, that's custom made for sure. It's like the Ass Man in Seinfeld. Like that was a custom made thing. This was Pee Wee Gaskins' Ass Man moment.
Well, I would give you a fun fact, but I just remembered that in my notes, I have sprinkled fun facts.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay. All right. We'll give her
we're
that.
going to get
All right.
to them.
So
Okay. I just can't
the
give them yet.
guessers have brought you a fun fact. Let's put our
Yes.
knowledge to the test.
I brought the list today, guys. Just a little intro to it. On our show, Twisted and Uncorked, we rotate through twisted topics each week. They include disappeared cases, murderless crimes, cults, hauntings, missing persons, conspiracies, listener-selected crimes, and then we always round out our topics with a 2-part episode where we do a bit of a deep dive into serial killers. Our most recent serial killer case was the Amazon review killer, Todd Kohlhepp. Wasn't that in Oklahoma too? Jesus, Oklahoma.
Was it?
I think.
No.
I don't
Hold on.
remember. Most of this
Todd Kohlhepp.
information, it's like a data dump thing. You know?
Well, by the way, good for you, like telling my listeners what your show's about. I forgot to do that for your listeners, but I cover top 10 lists on my show, and so that's what we're doing today. Sierra's brought a
You've
top
been
10
on
list.
the show a bunch of times,
You know,
Nick. They know. It's fine.
But you got new listeners all the time.
That's true.
South Carolina. So Nick is
okay.
not responsible for this one.
Okay.
Much
fine.
like other
Or any
episodes that
crime
we've called
that
him out.
happens elsewhere in Oklahoma or anywhere.
Listen, Sierra needed a scapegoat for covering an episode that's sad. You were.
I
our
never
scapegoat.
wanted to talk about it. And then our listeners decided on that topic. And I was like, fucking fine.
The Bever
I'll do
Brothers,
it.
which is Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah. Go listen to the Twisted and Uncorked episode on the Bever Brothers, which, what's the name of that one? I think it's called the most twisted one yet.
Yes, episode 135. And Sierra did a really great job. But we do call Nick out a lot, so don't take it personally.
I am not to be held responsible for the crimes of others.
Today's list is about serial killers, and it is the top 10 countries with the most serial killers.
Let's do
and
it.
I plan on touching on 1 or 2 cases from each country in the top 10. I actually have the top 22.
Okay.
There's 2 ties, but the top 10 is what you're guessing, and I'll give you the rest, later on.
Oh, shit.
I think probably we all know what number 1 is. Let's try and save that one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I do have some clarification and rules. So my main source is from worldpopulationreview.com, who got their data from Bradford University Serial Killer Information Center, or the SKIC. And they last compiled that list in 2016. So this is from 2016 to the beginning of writing down serial killers exist. These are only identified serial killers, not unknown people, with their confirmed victims.
Okay.
So someone like Jack the Ripper, who was never officially identified, he does not count towards, for instance, England's total serial killers. According to the SKIC, there were a total of 4,743 serial killers worldwide and 13,105 victims of serial killers as of 2016. So this is based off of that number. As for the definition of a serial killer, the website states, quote, at a 2005 symposium in San Antonio, Texas, the FBI officially defined a serial killing as the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offender in separate events, end quote. I do want to let you know, though, some countries say that a serial killer has to have 3 or more people, and it has to take place over at least 2 months with significant time in between each killing. But with the definition in mind, a team of 2 or more serial killers, such as the Ken and Barbie killers, Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, that would count as 2 separate serial killers, even though they killed the same people. But someone like James Holmes, who was the Aurora, Colorado movie shooter, he would not be considered a serial killer. He killed 5 people, but it was all at once. So he's a mass murderer, not a serial killer. Of course, a mass murderer can go on to become a serial killer, like Todd Kohlhepp, who we just talked about. But one thing to note is this list is comprised using readily available information from each country, so like prison records. Some countries might be more guarded about giving those numbers. So North Korea.
I mean, they don't want to boast to the world all the
list.
serial killers that they have.
Yeah. North
That's not
Korea
in their
does not
tourism
tell
ads.
us. anything.
Come
So
with
they're not
me
on
and
here.
you'll see.
Other than that, any other questions?
No, that's what I wanted to know. My clarifying question. So thank you. That's all. Sounds good.
I feel like
Well,
me
it's
and
not
Nick
good.
need to have like a team meeting on the side here, like pss, 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 like where Sierra can't hear us. But that's not going to happen, obviously. But I am going to let you take the first guess.
Well, I'm going to guess real quick a country that is probably not on this list.
Yes.
And that is, I'll bet you Denmark's not on the list.
Denmark is not on the list.
I don't think anyone's done a crime in Denmark ever.
Yeah.
I don't think
They're
anyone's even
just happier
jaywalked in
people
Denmark.
over there, I
Yeah.
think.
And the Netherlands and Switzerland.
Sweden, yeah.
No one's ever done
all of
anything
those.
bad there.
Yeah.
Ever.
Some of those are on here. Not in the
Ooh.
top 10.
Oh, okay. See, there you go. That's what
Number-
we needed to rule out, that there's not a lot of killers in those areas. Okay.
Number
Well, and you know-
21 is Sweden.
Oh, shit.
And number 20 is the Netherlands.
I fucking knew
Shit.
it.
What?
So
Out of hundreds?
Hey,
That's
but you know what's
shocking.
interesting too is serial killers, as far as recorded history, only goes back like 1700s, let's say. I'd say
right.
is when you first start seeing serial killers like make the record. So obviously there were some before that, but we just
Right.
The definition
know
of what that was not.
Yeah,
or
they
back
just
then you
didn't
didn't know
care
the same
when
person was killing
people
like
killed,
multiple
yeah.
people. Yeah.
The resources
And it was so
weren't
easy
there.
to
Yeah.
And if you kill someone, you just move and no one ever like finds out.
Just get your horse and buggy and roll on out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give a real guess now for a country that is in the top 10. I'll go with our friends in Russia.
Russia is in the top 10. Do you want to guess a number?
My teammate seems distracted. So I'll give a number for us. How about number 4?
Russia is, I'm going to give Alecia a chance to guess because it is not number 4.
7.
Closer. Russia is number 10. With 73 serial killers as of 2016.
There's no way that in the history of Russia, there's not 10 billion serial killers, right? It's just we only know of these 70.
Very possible. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They are 1.93% of the world's population and 1.54% of the world's serial killers. Russia's most prolific serial killer was a woman by the name of Olga Konstantinovna Briskorn. She killed 128 people during the years of 1818 to 1822. So it's like 4 years. 128 people. She was known as the Kursk Salty Chica. I don't think it's supposed to sound like salty chica, but that's how it's spelled.
Is this
when did we first start talking about my first
salty?
She was a socialite who killed what they called serfs at the time, which is basically just the Russian term for a slave. But 2 more well-known serial killers that came from Russia are Andrei
Chikatilo.
Yeah. How did you know that?
I know that guy.
Rostov Ripper, who killed at least 43 women and children from 1982 to 1990. And then Vasily Komarov, you know that one too? No. The Wolf of Moscow.
Oh,
who killed 33 men.
Well, Nick's got friends in Russia, apparently.
Murderous ones.
How do you know this man, Nick?
Right. I hear about a worldwide famous serial killer from Russia, and suddenly that means I'm friends with him.
The way you said it was like in
I know this guy.
When Buddy's like, I know him.
That's a different. That's
exactly.
Elf 2, I think, when he's bragging about the serial killers, he knows. But that's
out on DVD in 2028.
That's a long time, man. Movie studios usually don't plan that far ahead.
They're also not released on DVD anymore.
Also,
part of that sentence wasn't the problem.
I think you need to sit out for a few minutes and maybe think about things. But yeah, that first woman you brought up that killed 128 people
salty
in 4
chica.
years. Salty chica. That's 32 people
on
average per year.
Yeah, I just did that math.
Goodness gracious.
You have to kill an average of 2.6 people a month to keep up with that rate. And that's just
evil.
It's just too much work. Like, what? Just relax a little bit.
I think the anxiety of getting caught keeps me from not murdering people.
I don't think she cared to get caught because it's the 1800s and she was killing slaves.
Perfectly said, Sierra. Nobody
it's
cared.
Like,
not ask for a more ideal setup for a serial killer is slaves in Russia in the early 1800s when people are sitting in the street and they don't know how
You need
like
to start a hashtag shitting in the street for Tennis Podcast. The amount of times
Surely
that
that's
you
out
guys
there
have
already.
mentioned that. Come on.
I don't want to look up that hashtag, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna look
I
up
think
how many times in your show you've said shitting in the street.
that's the hard research that this world needs right now. Now, to be clear, we're not doing it.
No.
Talking about the people back in the 1800s. and shit.
You just seem like experts, poke and stick and
If you
shitting
were
in the street.
alive before 1928, you were shitting in the street. End of discussion.
True.
1928?
True. In the 20s, there was some like dumping of buckets in the street. Not necessarily physically shitting there, but
I mean,
I've always
might as
wanted to
well.
go back to the 20s. I don't think I do anymore. I do not
it's
want to
our
shit in the
decade,
streets.
Sierra. Don't take it back now.
All right.
The
I
next
don't
one.
want to guess my guess just yet because I feel like actually no. Knowing
You only have one guess?
No, I have multiple guesses, but like the one I'm
There's
really
9
excited to say.
options.
So I'm gonna save it, and
Yeah.
Nick might steal it from me, and that's fine.
We're on a team. We can't steal from each other.
I'm about to keep score now. Nick
Don't worry, I'm
got
already
Russia right.
I am going to guess the United Kingdom.
England.
Yes.
Yes. England is here. Who wants to guess what number England is?
Number 3.
You should.
Close.
4.
England is number 2.
Oh,
knew it.
shit.
So England is number 2 with 166 serial killers as of 2016. They make up 0.71% of the world's population, but 3.5% of the world's serial killers. The most prolific serial killer in England, and also one of the most prolific serial killers in history. Anybody know his name?
Oh, is it? Hang on. Is
Jack
it?
the Ripper?
No, because that one's not
what's
known.
The guy's
Oh,
fucking name?
fair.
The British Jeffrey Dahmer. Is what they call him. I can't think of his name.
Oh,
Dennis
Dennis
Nilsen.
Neal.
Dennis Nilsen.
Not that one. This one is Dr.
Okay,
Death.
thanks.
Dr. Death.
Dr. Death, Harold
Oh.
Shipman. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I
His
know.
total
I
confirmed
know him.
deaths is 218, but it is believed that the number could be closer to 250. From 1975 to 1998, Shipman killed mostly elderly women who were in good health, but were being seen by him at his practice. He would either steal from these women after death or write himself into their wills. They would be cremated after death as to not allow his actions to come to light. Harold Shipman is the only doctor in the history of British medicine to be found guilty of murdering his patients. But his case caused many changes in the British medical field. It is referred to as the Shipman effect. Here's a fun fact for you. Now, when a person is sent to a funeral home to be cremated, the person organizing the funeral has to answer the questions: do you know or suspect that the death of the person who has died was violent or unnatural? And do you consider that there should be any further examination of the remains of the person who has died? Which I think should happen everywhere. Like, before you cremate before you cremate someone, you should ask, hey, should we do an autopsy first? Because, I feel like that would help out a lot.
It's not a bad idea to just make autopsies a standard practice, although I know
there's resources involved that they don't want to necessarily put into certain cases.
Yeah, you're right.
But that's how some women got away with poisoning for so long. There were people that were already of poor health or were already elderly or whatever the case may be. So I agree. I think we should put the money into that.
This guy wasn't shitting in the street. He was Shipman in the street. Am I right?
How long have you been holding on to that one?
A few minutes now. Like almost immediately since she said it. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Shipman has the highest number of confirmed kills of any serial killer in the world. He's at least up there.
I think you are correct.
Yeah, I think so. All of the other ones that I have are not that high.
And when you say that high, do you mean body count or intoxication of?
Both.
All right. Jolly old England. Not so jolly now, are they?
I knew they were going to be high off the record, so that's why I was like hesitating. I'm like, do I want to go Scotland? But probably not.
Number 10 was 73. Number 2 is 166. So that's your range,
I bet you number 1 is way higher as well.
And
but we'll get to
unfortunate.
their asses. Is Scotland on here?
Scotland is number 19.
Oh, but it's in the top 24. That checks out.
Let's
Just
knock out the English-speaking countries besides number 1. How about Canada?
Canada's on here. You want to take a guess?
You took it from me.
All right, well then you guess the number then.
No, you guess the number because I want to see if you're right. I'm just the Canadian
8.
of the bunch.
Nope. Alicia, want to guess?
God, you're so cold with that.
6.
Could have said.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah, right. She's like,
Canada
fuck you guys.
is number 4.
No,
Wow.
Pretty
I
high.
didn't think Canada was
Right.
going to be that high.
106. Yeah. 106 serial killers as of 2016. They
Now, are these serial
are
killers of people or moose? Just to be clear.
the FBI's definition is people, not
Okay.
moose.
Okay. Good question.
They'd be number 1 for moose.
0.49% of the world's population and 2.24% of the world's serial killers.
Wow.
I mentioned Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka already at the start of the episode. Those two are Canadian serial killers. They kidnapped girls for Paul to assault. But the most prolific serial killer in Canada is, Alicia, you know this.
I know
Olson?
it.
Oh no, Robert Picton.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm like, I know he was
Robert
also in BC.
Picton. The pig farmer.
I feel really gross being this excited about my guesses, based on the topics that we're discussing, but I feel like I'm on a game show where I'm just like,
it is a game show. Robert Picton, the pig farmer, was charged with killing 26 women. He confessed to 49, but was actually only convicted of 6 of them because there were no bodies. He was feeding them to the pigs and maybe eating them himself.
Yum.
So that's Canada.
/ putting them in the meat that he was selling.
That he sold. That's right. You know what's interesting parallel for Robert Picton and I forget her name, the Salty Chica or something from Russia.
Yeah.
She was in the 1800s killing serfs, right? Not unique to Robert Picton, but Robert Picton was killing mostly sex workers, which are part of the less dead class of people, you know, homeless people and sex workers, and in the old days, people that were enslaved. Those are the people that are going to be least noticed, least investigated for a serial killing or a killing of any kind, and get away with it longer. And Robert Picton got away with it for a long time because of that.
Yes, that
despite mounting evidence,
indigenous women portion of it, and it was even less looked at, which is horrible.
And if I recall with Picton, I might be off, but definitely with other serial killers and maybe Picton too, people come to the authorities and voice concerns about this person, and they could have been caught far sooner than they were. But because the authorities did not take it seriously enough or kind of half-assed the investigation or didn't give a shit enough,
if they're not
because
blonde hair, blue-eyed,
or
pretty girls, the police like to say, it's okay, they're an adult, they're allowed to run away.
Oh, well, they do this as a job, so you know, they'll probably turn up in a few days.
Yeah.
Or since we're on this topic, this is also true for Jeffrey Dahmer, who killed and other people that targeted gay victims, because that's just a gay thing. Because in the Jeffrey Dahmer example, I know we're not talking about America yet, but in the Jeffrey Dahmer example, he had a victim with a hole in his head, like half dead, leave the apartment and go out. Jeffrey Dahmer comes out and they're talking to the police. Jeffrey Dahmer says, "Oh, it's just my boyfriend." The police say, "Ooh, we don't want to mess with this gay stuff. Just give him back to his boyfriend, send him home." So there's just a long history.
The gaping hole in his head, officers.
The victim was literally in front of the police and couldn't be helped.
With his killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, and the victim were both standing right there. Like that's a lot to face that you let that go. Let's knock out the other English speaking that's not number 1, and Australia. Is Australia
is on here. Do you want to guess where?
It's gotta be low. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
8?
It is number 8.
I was gonna say 8 or 9. Yeah, okay.
Australia is number 8 with 81 serial killers as of 2016. 0.33% of the world population, 1.171% of the world's serial killers. The most prolific case of serial murders in Australia is the bodies in the barrels murders, also called the Snowtown murders. which had many killers involved. There were 3 who were ultimately convicted. They were John Bunting, Robert Wagner, and James Vlasikis. But one of their moms, one of their friends, one of their fiancés, they were all deemed to be accomplices in the killing. The group said that they were only killing...
Are you saying that there was a mom and a fiance and a girlfriend? 3 accomplices?
3. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant that one person was all 3 of those things,
Oh, God, no.
That would have been a question, but
yes.
Okay, we don't have to go there.
The group said that they were only killing pedophiles and homosexuals, but then they would steal those people's identities and take their money. 12 people died from 1992 to 1999 at the hands of this group, and there is a movie about it called Snowtown. Anybody seen that movie?
No.
The most well-known single serial killer out of Australia, though, is... Anybody want to guess?
I don't know.
It's the backpacker murderer, Ivan Milat. He killed at least 7 young tourists and buried their bodies in Belanglo State Forest between 1989 and 1993.
He gives me, what's his face vibes.
Israel Keys.
Yes, thank you.
Because it's so random. He just when he saw people hiking, he was just like, oh, I feel like killing you today.
I like there was say what's his face and you're like, yep, I'm there.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with his case.
Oh,
He just shows random...
Stay tuned for when we cover him. We'll let you know.
Yes, very random choosing. It was literally
men and women,
victims of opportunity. Men and women.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Terrible. Most of them have dead eyes, but if you Google Ivan Milat, he'll give you nightmares.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys want a fun fact?
Typing away. Yes, we would love a fun fact.
Yes, please. Since you owe us one from earlier.
I gave you one already.
She's
but
already given
another.
us a couple. Yeah.
Less than 5% of all serial killings are gang motivated. The leading motive for serial killings at 30% is enjoyment.
I was going to say, or sexual deviance, I was going to say. Which
thrill,
same thing.
Lust, and power is how they define it. Yep. Just fucking for fun.
I'm actually surprised it's that low. I would have guessed that's like 70% or something. Because think of every serial killer we've talked about so far. Has it been for anything other than enjoyment?
Ugh. The other motives listed are financial gain, anger. There's one that's multiple motives. Gang activity, avoiding arrest, cult, convenience, hallucinations, or for attention.
For attention.
Attention.
I mean, what was the one you said? Anger, right? Out of anger.
Anger. Mm-hmm.
Imagine having anger issues so bad, like most of us will like break something or yell at somebody, but imagine your anger problems being such that you just, I fucking just killed several people several days apart. Like, because I'm so angry.
Right. Yeah, that's true, because these are serial killer motives. Mm-hmm. They are several days apart. That's crazy.
It's got to be like separate anger.
There's no cool off period there. You're just steaming out the ears the entire time. Like a cartoon character.
With over 250 episodes of Tennis Podcast and counting, it can be tough to know where to start or which episode to pick next. The Tennis Podcast episode guide has you covered. Go to tennispod.com/episodes and you'll be able to see all of our episodes filtered by topic and by sidekick host. For example, are you looking for lists about animals? Select the animals topic and you'll see every episode we have ever done relating to animals, such as the smartest animals, the deadliest animals, etc. There are dozens of topics to choose from, such as food, music, true crime, sports, and more. It's the quickest way to find Tennis Podcast episodes in the topics you're most interested in. Or maybe you're less picky about the list topic and the sidekick host is more important to you. Say you are a psychopath and you actually want more Dr. Buster episodes. First of all, wow. Secondly, you can use the episode guide to quickly see all of the episodes Dr. Buster has ever been on. The same is true for all of our regulars, like Alex Johns, Brad Choma, and the rest. One last thing. When you find the episode, you can click into the episode to see links to all of the most popular podcast players like Spotify and Apple, as well as a short visual trailer for that episode and a full interactive transcript. The Tennis Podcast episode guide is truly your best bet in finding the next episode for you. Try it now at tennispod.com/episodes or just click the link in the show notes. Okay, I'm ready for another guess.
Let's go.
On one hand, I could see this being high because it's either the largest or second largest country in the world. But on the other hand, I could see it not being on the list at all because they're kind of guarded with their information. That's China.
China is number 12 on the list, allegedly.
Oh.
Allegedly, yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know.
Okay, you went Asian speaking countries, so I'm going to follow suit.
Uh-huh.
Or just Asian countries in general.
Asian is not a language.
Yes. I corrected myself. And also based on population, what about India?
Yeah.
India is on here.
Okay.
You want to guess where?
Number
Yeah.
5?
High.
No.
I was going to say
Alright,
3.
No, it's number 9.
Really?
Shit.
Okay.
It is. With 80 serial killers as of 2016, it is 17.81% of the world population.
Are you fucking serious?
That's
India
insane.
has a lot of people, and it's only
that's why I
one
was
point.
thinking population.
Yeah.
So.
It's only 1.69% of the world's serial killers.
So they're generally peaceful people.
No, I just think it's underreported. But
I
Very
think
possible.
you're probably right.
The most prolific serial killer out of India was actually a cult leader named Thug Bayram, also known as King of the Thugs. Leader,
of course.
Hang on, I'm not done. Leader of the Thuggy cult.
Is this spelled thug like
This is real.
THUG?
Yes.
Why have we never covered this?
I don't know. He
Please
was
tell
active.
me you're going to cover it soon.
Well, he was active
Yeah.
from 1790
oh,
to
that's why.
1840.
That's why. All right.
50
And is
years, though. Wow.
Is believed to be involved with over 900 deaths, but
What?
only 125 murders by him were confirmed.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Never heard of this guy.
I haven't
Me
either.
either.
And with a
They're
name
not thug
like
enough.
Thuggy.
Now,
Oh,
is thug,
it's so
are we
funny.
thinking that he changed his name to be like the English word thug? Or are we saying like that's his
No,
name and they
because
named yeah.
was thug a word in the 1700s? I don't think so.
No, because it's a slang term.
In
Is it
English,
even
yeah.
actually a word?
I was going to say, it says on his Wikipedia that the murders were by strangulation with a ceremonial something, a handkerchief-like cloth used by his cult as a
Yeah.
carrot.
This sounds like a violent fucking cult.
It sounds awful. Nick, will you be on that episode when we cover it?
Please. Yeah, if there's a cult involved, I'm there.
I
I'm
mean,
going to look into this after
I
we
think the
record.
issue is that it's from the 1790s, so how much information can there really be?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Enough
We'll
for
see
Nick
what
to
we can
weigh in
find.
with some comic
His cause of
relief.
death was execution by hanging, so he must have been caught at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Thug, we got you, fam.
Thug. A more well-known serial killer in India is Cyanide Mohan, as they called him, or Mohan Kumar, who was an elementary school gym teacher who would lure
That's
women to
horrifying.
him by telling them he would marry them without dowry. Then he'd give them cyanide, claiming it was birth control, and rob them after they died. He killed 20 women, and this was between 2005 and 2009. So not
wow.
that fucking long ago.
Ladies, come on.
How many women?
20.
Wow.
I am not victim shaming at all, but what?
This is India. You have to have a dowry. And these women were like, I don't have one. He was like, okay, I'll still marry you.
Ugh.
You know?
And if a man anywhere, India or otherwise, offers you something and says, this is birth control, I swear, and it's the year 2005, like, I don't know.
Chances are we have our own birth control and we're good.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot
Other
of women can't afford
countries.
birth control or whatever,
Yes.
but like,
Actually,
Well, they don't have
that's
as
one
many
cool thing
rights.
about Canada is they just, well, at least British Columbia, they just made birth control free province-wide. That's pretty cool.
That's nice.
okay, more reasons to, okay, so in the
Move to
plus
Canada.
column, you got free birth control. In the negative column, you got Robert Picton feeding your ass to a pig.
Things to consider when moving to a different country.
You know, Canada is, well, I don't know if Canada or Australia is smaller population-wise, but Canada is definitely small for population compared to all these other
The
countries we've
size
discussed.
of it as well. Yeah.
Despite having what, like 1/20th of India's population or something like that, they are way above India on this list. Interesting.
Canada is bigger than Australia.
We're not as nice as you think.
Okay, Alecia the serial
Population-wise.
killer. What I have a guess. I'm going to
Speak
stay in
for all
Asia.
Canadians, apparently.
Okay.
My friends in Japan, are they on this
Ooh.
list?
They are on this list. Do you
Good
want to guess where?
They're high. 3 or 5. I'll go. Well, what could be number 3 if it's not? Oh, you know what? I think I know it. I'm gonna say 5 for Japan.
It is number 6.
Knew it.
Number 6 with 96 serial killers as of 2016. It is 1.7% of the world's population, 2.02% of the world's serial killers. Okay, I'm going to tell you about 2 guys from Japan right now. And this is it blew my mind.
Oh, God.
Japan is home to this guy known as the suicide website murderer, Hiroshi Mawe. Maybe. In 2005, this 35-year-old man would lure people to him from an online suicide club, suggesting that they end their lives together. However, when they came out to meet him, he would strangle them because this was the only way he could get sexual gratification. He had 3 victims, ages 14, 21, and 25.
14.
Now, if that wasn't weird enough, let me tell you, that's not the only time this happened. In 2017, a man named Takahiro Shirashi, known as the Twitter killer, also lured suicidal people to his home to kill them. He would befriend vulnerable young girls on Twitter, invite them to his home so that he could watch them complete suicide, and then rape and murder them. Upon arrest, he wouldn't
Oh, he
let
raped
them...
and murdered them. I see.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Dumb
He
question.
killed them instead of letting them kill themselves.
Yeah.
Upon arrest, police discovered dismembered body parts all over his home, in his fridge and his freezer.
Nope.
He killed and dismembered 9 people between the ages of 15 and 26 for what he said was sexual gratification. So I don't know what the fuck is going on in Japan.
Well, from my research on the suicide forest in Japan, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's considered an honorable way for you to die if you must die before your time.
Suicide?
So yeah, so maybe that's why in that country that's a way.
There's more people looking for suicide than other countries.
And that's like a luring process as opposed to like, people hitchhiking like in the US.
Look, why do they get off on it?
I don't know that part.
Well, that's,
I just mean they
got too much lead in their paint.
The vast victim pool to choose from in terms of people that are wanting to complete suicide is what I meant. Was an interesting standpoint in Japan. But yeah, definitely lead in the paint for sure.
I'm going to give free advice to all the serial killers out there. If you want to kill someone or a bunch of people, if you're a serial killer, so probably a bunch of people, don't do it with a paper trail like Twitter or some other or a website where it can be clearly traced to you.
They're not
that
smart.
You have. Yeah, they have a direct
They
line
never are.
from you to the victim. Like, it's just dumb.
Smart people.
I mean, I'm glad he
don't
got
kill
caught.
people,
But
so
we say it all the time on the show. We're so glad that some of them are so stupid, but for the sake of saving further victims, they're stupid because they choose to do that and because they usually do dumb things to get caught, like leave a paper trail. Be stupider, I think, is the best advice here. Less victims, less death, less things for us to talk about though on this list. So
yeah, so
I'm gonna give you another fun fact first.
Ooh, okay.
So this relates to Nick's fun fact from earlier. The 1990s holds the record for being the decade with the most serial killers internationally, while the 1980s had the most in the United States. Specifically, 1987 being the year with the most active serial killers.
I think Ramirez was caught, I want to say 86, 85. So right after that, Ted Bundy was before that. Yeah, I can't I mean, I believe you. I just can't think of like a serial killer that was like caught in 1987. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's hard to be a serial killer in 2024, It's like, think of the Twitter serial killer. Yeah. It's just not the same game, luckily for us. But unluckily for all the serial killer wannabes. I have a guess. I gotta know what number 3 is. It's gotta be Mexico.
Mexico is number 13.
I am shocked, but I think that's an underreported thing, Nick, because of how much just gets swept under the rug there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there's so much, the cartel and all that shit. Like, maybe that's not classified as a serial killing. Maybe it's classified differently.
I'm going to follow you on the Spanish route, though. I feel like because South America is so large that something in South America has to be on the list. But I can't think
Brazil.
of countries in South America that are high in population right now.
Brazil is number 14. There is no South America in the top 10.
What?
Do you want me to give you the 21 through 10?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 21 is Sweden. Well, I guess technically that's number 20 is Sweden. Tied at 19 is the Netherlands and Scotland. Tied at 18 is Poland and Spain.
Oh, okay. Weird. I don't know why that's weird. Poland did not even cross my mind.
Poland and Spain. Yeah, just
16 is Hungary. Hungary? How do you say it?
Hungary?
You think about a guy named Gary, he's really Hungary.
Hungary. Okay. Number 15 is Austria. 14 is Brazil. 13 is Mexico. 12 is China. 11 is France.
France? They don't kill people in France.
Right. And then you have Russia at number 10. India at number 9. Australia at number 8. You don't have number 7. 6 is Japan. You don't have 5. 4 is Canada. You don't have 3. 2 is England. And you don't have 1.
We're doing great. I'm just saying.
We know one.
Not bad.
Well, some of our team's doing great. I mean,
I will say Alecia has only
like...
gotten 2 of them.
I'm letting you take the lead here. I'm just here for help. Nicholas, okay?
Okay, get the next one then.
What about, okay, I'm thinking next largest continents, but it might not be reported, so this might be a total shot in the dark. What about something in the African region?
Yeah, you want to name a country?
Is South Africa a country itself?
It is.
Okay.
You want to guess what number?
Number 7?
It's number 3.
Oh, shit. I was not
I never heard
that.
of a South African serial killer.
I haven't either, but I was just thinking based on population and where white people are.
South Africa.
If you think of a serial killer, they're usually
That's
white.
the sad thing.
That's
they're usually
unfortunate.
a white male. Yeah.
Yeah. South Africa has 117 serial killers as of 2016. 0.74% of the world population, 2.47% of the world's serial killers.
Wow.
The most prolific serial killer in South Africa is actually an ex-police officer. Named Louis Van Shore. This is a very interesting story, though. He was considered to be a racist, obviously. I mean, who's shocked? He only killed people who were black or mixed race. He's convicted.
White, by the way?
Yes, yeah. He's white.
Okay.
He was convicted of 9 killings, but is thought to have killed at least 39. He confessed to 101, including many children, in 1989. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and is now out living his life because it's been 20 years.
What the fuck?
His daughter is currently in prison because she hired a hitman to slit her mom's throat. His daughter,
but who hasn't done that? I mean, come on.
Sabrina, let me tell you why. Sabrina said she had a lot of friends in the Black community, and her mother used to beat her for interacting with people of other races. So she hired someone to kill her racist mother. She, who only killed her racist mother, received 25 years. 5 more years than her father.
What?
I have a couple questions. So the hitman succeeded, right? The mom's dead?
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? Okay. So she hired a hitman, got 25 years. This other guy was I think 9 confirmed killings, right?
He got convicted of 9.
Yeah, and he got 20 years. How do you guys feel about that? Because I think America's sentencing is sometimes too severe, especially for nonviolent crimes. But on the flip side, like, is 20 years enough? Or like, where's the middle ground on that? You know,
I think this one specifically has to do with the time. He was convicted in 1989, and he was only killing people of color. So it's that thing where it's South Africa in 1989. They didn't give a shit. Or 2002. I'm sorry. 2002, she killed her mom, or hired someone to kill her mom. And in 2002, maybe they were just like, we got to stop all these killings, you know? Or maybe it's because she killed a white person, her mom.
Yeah.
Well, I think even in 2024, like, I don't know about South Africa specifically, but a lot of countries, if you kill someone, you'll go to prison for 10, 20, maybe 30 years even. But in America, it's like death sentence or life in prison without possibility of parole. So like, I don't know which extreme.
I think it has to be based on the circumstances.
I agree.
And I do not believe in the death sentence. I think that's why are we killing people for killing people? Like that seems ironic and hypocritical. But I also feel like people I think if our prisons were better, people could be rehabilitated. My grandpa was murdered by my aunt's husband, and he just came up for parole, and they denied it and said he'll be in prison for life. And I feel like that's harsh, even though literally my family is the one who died. I still feel like, he has kids and stuff. That's his whole life over this one mistake. But at the same time, I'm sure he didn't get better in prison. He's probably a worse person now. So,
and that's in the
US. Our prison system sucks, but
going back to Canada, we have a maximum like 25 years to life, but usually people are up for parole after 25 years. And we talked about Robert Pickton earlier. He was arrested in 2022. He's up for parole.
I mean, 2002.
Yeah, sorry, 2002. Sorry, he's up for parole again this year, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God. Imagine if he got out.
I don't like it.
I don't either. I don't either. But it'll be 25 years in, I'm horrible at math, in 2027. So if he's denied parole this year, does full parole mean that he'll get out for sure in 2027? Like, this is what I'm nervous about. Like, he has no business being out anywhere.
No. But I do think having a parole board check in on those people periodically is probably a good idea. Like, I mean, Robert Pickton, I hope he never gets out. But again, in the case of my aunt's ex-boyfriend, he could probably be checked on again in another 10 years and maybe get out then, but he never will. He got this one parole hearing and that's it. So
wow. That's very big of you to say, especially because your family is the one that's affected in that situation.
Yeah.
This is why we're not in charge of sentencing in the United States.
Can you imagine us just being on the panel for who gets in and who gets out?
Just say no to everybody. Nope.
I don't like that guy's eyes.
Yeah, right. You have dead eyes. You're gonna hurt somebody again.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is a parole board or whomever is making a judgment call on someone being rehabilitated. You don't really ever know for sure. You can have if someone's better or not.
Especially like that from a psychopathic narcissist personality trait, you can manipulate people and be like, I'm fine.
This happened. That happened. Do you remember that one guy? I can't remember his name right now. I think he was either in Germany or England, and he killed people, got rehabilitated, got out, became a reporter, went to America, and started reporting on his own killings.
Oh, yeah. That sounds familiar.
Oh, his name is super long and I can't say it because he's German, right?
Is it under something?
Yes, Underminer.
Yes.
I always think underwear when I think of his name. Don't know why.
Well, maybe the word under.
He deserves to be.
Well, let's talk about
Jack
Germany. Germany was going to be my guess.
That's his name. Sorry.
Germany.
Anyway.
Good guess.
Is Germany on here?
It is. What number?
It's got to be 5 or 7 because 1 is we're saving it. Let me think. Alecia, what else are we going to guess here? Like, what else can compete with Germany on this list?
Other than the infamous number 1?
I think Europe.
Anything in the Middle East, maybe? Because we've kind of...
There's no way to...
Spain's not on there.
Yeah, they're not reporting on it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just thinking population condensed.
Ukraine or something?
South America. This is me doing a map in my head, if anyone's wondering what's happening.
Yeah, it's thrilling. Yeah. Everyone needs to make sure to check out the video version of this episode. It's can't miss. I really can't think. So Germany, I'll say it's 5.
Nope, it's number 7.
Oh, God. 50%
You
chance
had 2 chances. With 85 serial killers as of 2016, it is 1.08% of the world population and 1.79% of the world's serial killers. So it's about even. Germany has 2 serial killers who were considered bandits, quote unquote, who kept their own lists of people they had killed. One was Peter Nares, who claimed to kill 544 people in the 1500s. And the other is Christman Geneperteniga, who claimed to kill 964 people, also in the 1500s. I don't think these are confirmed. They don't count. I just thought that these people were crazy for like writing down names of people they suppose, like in the 1500s. Did you even know 900 people? Were there 900 people?
No.
Like, that many people didn't exist in Germany. Come on, guy.
No, 1500s. Like they're just trying to get their horse to the field to eat, and they're trying to not catch the common cold, and they're just want shoes to wear to walk down to the market. They're not killing 900 people. Fuck.
But the most prolific serial killer with confirmed kills in Germany is Niels Hogel, who was a nurse who killed at least 85 patients from 2000 to 2005. Germany actually has a lot of male and female nurses who were serial killers. So be careful at the doctors, German listeners.
Yeah, we are.
Got lots of them.
That's like, I think our fourth country that listens to us is Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so be careful.
Yeah, I got a lot there too.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that, sorry for all those German listeners listening to us right now, but it's a good thing like the horrors of the Holocaust don't count toward this list.
Right.
Because what is a concentration camp if not
the definition of serial
operationalizing?
killing?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to stay on your thought train then. If we're not Middle East, we're not South America. Let's go back to Europe. Portugal's probably not on there because it's so small. Spain, Sierra already said isn't on there. France, Sierra already said isn't on there. Germany and the UK. Ooh.
It is Italy.
Italy.
Ding, 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 ding. At number 5.
Italy at number 5. Let me tell you about Italy.
The mob.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mob activity.
97 serial killers as of 2016. It is 0.8% of the world's population, 2.05% of the world's serial killers. The most prolific serial killer in Italy is actually one that is still unidentified. This wouldn't have counted, but it is the most prolific. He's known only as the Monster of Florence. He killed at least 14 people, couples who were just done getting it on in their cars. Yes.
Oh my God.
Between 1968 and 1985.
You couldn't get through that sentence without just saying it.
I was like, if I say this, I'm going to laugh. I have to calm myself first.
Because no one says getting it on anymore. Jesus.
That's how I wrote it. Okay. Like I said, this one would not have counted towards Italy's total number on the list, but I brought it up because it is allegedly what inspired the 1999 novel Hannibal.
Oh, shit.
Which is kind of interesting.
I've heard about this guy. Yeah.
One that would count towards the list, though, is Donata Bilancia, who killed 17 people between 1997 and 1998. That's one fucking year. He chose his victims at random and never felt remorse because he claims he was possessed by a disease at the time of the murders. Ironically, he did become possessed by a disease that killed him in 2020 when he got COVID in prison. So that happened.
Was in prison. Okay, I was going to ask, like, did this guy get a 20-year sentence or what? But
yeah.
Okay, he's dead in prison.
He's dead. And crazy. Let me tell you another fun fact before we get to number 1. My last fun fact. In the last 100 years, the number of known female serial killers has gradually declined as the number of male serial killers has gradually inclined. In the 1990s, women made up 60% of international serial killers, while men made up 40%. And in the 2010s, women made up only 8% and men 92%.
What? Goddamn. What happened?
So women are getting smarter and not getting caught. That's what I think happened.
Yeah.
Or men are just getting really fed up with women having rights. That could be it too.
Probably a mix. But, I don't mean to... I don't know how this will come off, but I don't mean it to come off in a bad way. But, like, women typically murder through more cunning means, right? It's like poison or...
Yeah. I wouldn't say
like
cunning. More like ways that they would be more successful. Like
less
physical
obvious,
combat is not how we're gonna beat
they're
those
not
people.
like physically violent. Whereas like men, it's usually physical. It's
quieter.
Stabbing or shooting or strangling. Or women is more like sneaky,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. However, those more quote unquote sneaky ways are also easier to find out now. Like, did you buy poison? I can find a receipt for that. So it's probably harder to get away with it.
Well,
So
plus
they
the
had to stop
autopsy.
killing.
Yeah, we used to joke all the
Yeah.
time, like, where do you fucking buy arsenic? Like, where,
Yeah.
where
In
are you going to
2024,
the store?
nowhere, because you're going to jail. If they see you bought arsenic, jail. Like, that's
Yeah.
not good.
True.
Hang on, I need to go clear my Amazon cart real quick. I'll be back.
All right, so number 1, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I've gotten all the
is
fucking rest right, so I might as well let Alecia
the
say this one.
home
Go ahead.
of the United, where Nick and Sierra live.
That is
And
true.
so many serial killers.
The United States. Okay, so let me just remind you. Number 10.
Bless America.
He sang twice for us today. I feel
I have to
honored.
tell you these numbers. Number 10 had 73. Number 9 had 80. Number 8 had 81. Number 7, 85. 6, 96. 5, 97. 4, 106. 3, 117. 2, 166. Number 1, the United States had 3,204 serial killers.
How did we jump that far?
And that's not even counting this. That's not even counting the mass shooters and stuff.
Yeah. If you added 1
Nick's
through 9
definitely
together,
moving to Canada now.
it's still not 3,000. Like, all of the other countries combined don't have as many serial killers as the United States.
Unbelievable.
It is 4.35% of the world's population and 67% of the world's serial killers.
I knew it was a lot, but goddamn, that's a lot.
So bad. I think that gang members and mobsters add to why this number is so high, also because gun laws in the US are so flippant. Death by shooting is the leading method of killing chosen by serial killers, followed by strangulation and stabbing. So if you just let everybody have a gun, you know, it's easier to use them. There are so many serial killers in America that can be mentioned here. I am just going to stick with the most prolific serial killer. Do y'all know who it is?
The most prolific in the
Most
United
prolific.
States.
The
I
most
do think I know who it is.
confirmed victims.
Okay.
Do you want to
Give me a
guess
second here.
first?
Did you said you know who it is, Alecia?
Yes, I think I know who it is. I might be getting cocky here, but
I feel like I know. Is it a doctor killing?
No. It's someone who killed sex workers.
Oh, it's Gary Ridgway from
thank you.
Seattle.
It's not Gary Ridgway.
What?
Oh, really?
He's from Ohio, the home place
know.
of me.
Oh
Home
no,
place
is
of
it
me.
Sierra?
No, Samuel Little.
Oh,
Samuel
but he
Little.
he wasn't a doctor, but he was like an
He was a trucker.
Stuart Little. I'm thinking of someone else. Okay, yes, he was
Samuel
recently
Little.
found.
you're thinking of a mouse.
I said Stuart Little. I meant Samuel Little.
You were thinking of a tiny white
The
mouse with a
mouse.
human older
Yes.
brother. That was on the tip of my tongue too because of our interview with Bill Kimberlin.
Bill. There we go. That's not
Not
with
a
a
Ted
T.
or a Tit.
Yes.
Bill worked with Samuel Little, so
He did, yeah.
and sent him some really creepy artwork. Separate problem.
Samuel Little was active from 1970 to 2005. It's a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And he has killed confirmed at least 60 people, most of which were sex workers, addicts, and homeless people. Little actually admitted to the police that he chose these victims because he knew it would be harder for them to be found, since people would not be looking for them. Little was in and out of jail a magnitude of times by 1975. He had been arrested 26 times in 11 different states for crimes including theft, assault, attempted rape, fraud, and attacks on government officials. He wasn't arrested for murder until 1982, but he was acquitted at that trial. In 1984, he was arrested for the attempted murder of 2 women, for which he served 2.5 years and was released in 1987.
Wow.
Of
It's the
course,
opposite
he
of
killed
what I was saying
again.
earlier
Yeah.
about America's sentencing.
Of course, he killed again after his release, and he wasn't arrested again until 2012. After that final arrest, he was bounced around from state prison to state prison, facing multiple different charges because his DNA was finally put into the system. And they found all kinds of victims that he was responsible for. He died while serving a life sentence in 2020. That sums up America.
God bless America. What was his?
Would you like to sing for us again, Nick?
No, I think I've made my point earlier. And with your soundboard, you can add in some American music.
Some do.
Record yourself doing that and then lay it in. Sierra, do you know Samuel Little's murder method?
I believe it was mostly strangulation.
Because I don't know if you can get away with being a shooting serial killer for 35 years.
I thought he knocked people out first and then strangled them. Like he didn't want to put up a fight.
Well, he was like a rapist too. So
yeah. Who knows how many people he raped?
Yeah.
Who were crimes not even by being a victim of murder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this whole episode has inspired me to do a female serial killers in Canada episode. So stay tuned for that. Cutting that out. She said Carla Homolka, and then there's a lady named Elizabeth Wetlaufer.
Wetlaufer, I hardly know her.
She's a very scary looking woman. And I went down a rabbit hole from there while I was looking at a page full of countries.
This episode has inspired many rabbit holes. I feel like I'll be going down tonight when I'm laying in bed on my phone.
Oh no.
Thuggy cult for
Nick's
sure.
not sleeping for sure. Okay, well, we need to do the thuggy cult with Nick anyway. That's just a thing. But
right.
Sierra, take us to the top 10 one more time before we roll on out.
Yes. Number 10 is Russia with 73 serial killers. Number 9 is India, 80 serial killers. Number 8 is Australia, 81 serial killers. Number 7 is Germany, 85 serial killers. Number 6 is Japan, 96. Number 5 is Italy, 97. Number 4 is Canada, 106. Number 3 is South Africa, 117. Number 2 is England, 166. And number 1, the United States, with 3,204 serial killers.
Hang on.
It's fucking crazy.
3,204?
Yes.
If I look up how many people live in the United States versus how many people listen to us, that's like 16 people that are probably serial killers. And that makes me nervous.
How many killers did England have? Number 2. 196?
166.
Almost 20 times the amount in the US as in England. Crazy.
Insane.
Well, thanks, Sierra. That was a hell of a list. What was the score? You kept score on who got him.
I did. Alicia guessed 3 out of 10.
Okay. No, that's being generous too, I think. But
this does not include the United States. I didn't give that to anybody because
we all knew
so
it.
3 out of 9.
That's the thing. Yeah. Your listeners, even if they're not into serial killers and they don't know as much as the 3 of us, they hear the topic of this episode, they go, "Oh, number 1's America."
Yeah, of course.
That's the American reputation. Is like the first thing you think about in America, especially if you don't live here, is that's where you get shot at school.
Yeah.
Or at church or whatever.
Sadly.
Or at a Walmart.
Or at the movie theater. Or at a concert. Or at a bar. Just name the place. It happens.
Or your toddler will shoot you on accident in your garage.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
Anyway, on that happy note, this has been great. What do we do now?
Also, my math was very wrong. 160 of our listeners are probably a serial killer, so that's fun.
Oh, Jesus.
10 times the amount you said. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not happy about it, but we're okay with it. Anyway. Nick, you can do the math on your listeners based on how many people listen.
I think if there's any fewer than 40% of my listeners that are serial killers or might be a serial killer someday, I'd be surprised. Kind of feel like that's the makeup of the Tennis Pod.
Celebrities, fellow podcasters, serial killers.
And serial killers.
Gotcha.
Or you could be all 3 serial killers.
Yeah,
you're
like
just
Sierra's
and you're just on here giving them tips.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe we should not give serial killers tips if we know they're listening.
Oh.
It's
not so much giving tips as it's
no, Nick literally said, "I have a tip for serial killers." Okay, he said the words.
Well, I want to make it clear now. Serial killing is bad and you should not do it.
Hugs, not drugs.
There you go.
There it is. I'm in the clear. There's many people listening today that listen to Tennis but not Twisted and vice versa. We should let them know more about our show. You did a little bit of an intro for your show at the beginning, but I want to remind the Twisted and Uncorked listeners, I've been on this show a few times in the past. If you haven't listened to those, you should. What was the most recent one? It was that the mustachioed?
Exotically Mustachioed, episode
Exotically
135.
Mustachioed. There it is. I would love for you to listen to Tennis Podcast if you don't already. We are on every podcast feed. We cover a new top 10 list. This pretty much this exact format we just did together is what we do every week. Me and a different guest sidekick host, including Alecia and Sierra in the past and probably again in the future. So I hope you'll check us out.
Yes, do that.
It was episode 96. Exotically
What did you
Mustachioed.
said 130 something.
Which is like our recent episodes. I'm in editing mode always, okay? So episode 96.
96. Listen to it.
There we go.
And I have mine written down. You guys did on my show the top 10 most haunted places in America.
169. Nice.
You knew it. There it is. 169. You've done a bonus episode with me too, the top 10 liquor brands. So
yes, on the Tennis Pod Plus feed. And
right.
As you know, Brandon Kaufman is near and dear to all of us. Nick and Brandon were both on our show in July of 2021 doing a bonus on where people tend to hide bodies in the world.
Yeah, that was an interesting one for sure.
It was great.
Can't help but talk about
dead people, bodies, serial
Yep.
killers, all the things. Hence the making of this bonus episode on this friendship. Yeah. So, we're okay with it.
Well, this was a lot of fun. I always love talking to you guys. So thanks for
doing this.
Thanks for this. Yeah. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, you guys know where to find all of us, and we hope you keep listening and loving the shows. And I was gonna say keep it twisted, but that's not how we end this.
No, keep it twisted. They should absolutely keep it twisted, but not in the serial killing sense. Just in
a normal, twisted
normal
fascination. Twisted. Yeah.
Yes.
Keep it that real.
All right.
And bye.
Bye.